Hello, welcome to my Mindset Improvement Guide. I'm here to guide you to a better mindset in approaching your matches in Naraka Bladepoint. I believe teaching players a better mindset is the best way to improve your overall gameplay. I'll be explaining thought processes that you should have as you play your games, and to begin, I'll explain one term that is commonly found in MOBAs, micros. How would I define micros? Micros is the in-depth understanding of your character, such as knowing your strengths and weaknesses. In this game, it can also be applied to acknowledging the situation you are in and the weapons you wield. This will help you understand your capabilities in combat situations and make better decisions. This is an important term to understand because it's a foundation to get into the mindset of things you can or cannot do. When playing games that involve a lot of strategy, it's pivotal that you don't play the game mindlessly. Your mind should be active at all times so that you're at your peak performance. Everyone's micro level is different. Some are naturally good, others need some work. But the fact that you're watching this video proves to me that you are one of many players that are actively trying to become a better player, and I applaud you for that. Without further ado, here are some thought processes that can help your overall gameplay. Tip number 1. Consider your spawning point. When choosing your spawning point, think about what risks you're willing to take. It's always tempting to spawn in a high resource zone, but one of the biggest problems with that is you are relying on your loot luck and your micro. At any time, you're at risk of a player encounterment, and if you're not well equipped / prepared, your chances of surviving are slim. We want to do our best to survive as long as we can, so that we can climb in rank, so it all comes down to comfortability and again, your micro, the understanding of your character and weapons, when choosing your spawn location. So ask yourself when choosing a spawn zone if it's worth the risk, or would you rather spawn in a less populated area? Choosing weapons. When choosing a weapon, don't use a weapon with high rarity because it's high rarity or just because it's stronger. Keep in mind the weapons you're most comfortable with because that's where you'll find your best performance. Picking up a weapon that you don't have much experience with means you're not using that weapon to its maximum potential, thus decreasing your chances of winning engagements. So when you find your next legendary weapon, ask yourself, is this legendary katana really a better option than my rare dagger? Hide higher rarity weapons. Don't just leave that legendary katana out for someone else to pick up. Drop any useless weapon from your inventory so that you can conceal it from anyone else. Choosing soul jades. Similarly to weapon wielding, don't pick up soul jades that correspond with specific weapons that you don't use just because it's legendary. Plan your next location. As the game progresses, consider your situation and plan your next location. If you're well equipped, you might go to a highly contested zone for kills. If not, you might opt in for a less populated area. But sometimes you may enter situations where we are loot deprived and may have to consider a risky zone. Whatever the case is, as we initially mentioned at the start of this video, we are trying to better develop our mindset so that we will actively think in our games to make better decisions. Analyze your current situation. Are you lacking materials, soul jades, or utilities such as grappling hooks and meds? In this situation, you want to avoid player contact as best as possible. If you're lacking resources, use the map and look for locations that are usually unpopular / not popular to best avoid contact. Use the map and predict enemy locations, avoid popular loot areas, and focus on smaller loot places. Take advantage of low-lit places, shrubberies, and avoid wide open spaces. In general, limit the view space so that you are more difficult to find. Think about if you're best using your surroundings to conceal yourself. Also, don't forget how much time you have till the wall begins to move. Pick your fights correctly. If you know you're unable to fight because you're ill-prepared, do your best to avoid it. The goal is to survive and win, so do your best to survive as long as possible. When engaging, consider your surroundings to make a decision of if the kill is worth it. If you're out in the open or somewhere near a popular place, know that your engagement could trigger a third party. Acknowledge their playstyle. Players are always adapting to their fights. When fighting, don't just focus on your next attack, but rather the enemies. The combat is a huge rock, paper, scissors shoot game. If the player is spamming lights, do more heavies, but don't be predictable. Adapting to playstyles. After acknowledging his playstyle, then you should consider yours. If you notice you're doing too many heavies, predict that the enemy might parry, so that ahead of time you can surprise him with a heavy attack cancel or a dodge, then into a light attack. And calm down and relax. As the game intensifies, it's common for players to get nervous. Overcoming this anxiety is huge because it allows you to not only relax, but gives you time to focus and not be too hasty. Take deep breaths and slow down in your gameplay. Chill in a bush or tree if you have to. Over time, as you constantly encounter these anxiety situations, the severity of it will lessen, so keep calm and move on. And that's all the thought processes that I have to share right now. Ultimately, we want ourselves to actively think in our games. Every second and every step we take, we are subconsciously making decisions, but we don't want to do that. The best result you can get out of this video is the habit to consciously think when making decisions. Everything we do is a decision, so ask yourself every time, is it worth it? Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you found any of this information useful. If you're interested in more guides, let me know in the comments of what you would like to see next. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving me a like. This is my first video, and I would like to help the community improve in their gameplay. And subscribe for more guides in the future. Thank you everyone, and good luck in the next game.